Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. My homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's pay our respect to our teacher, Pinnath Laku Swami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear Dharma friends, so good to see you all again. First, apologize for the class because last week there was a unforeseen incident, so camera didn't work as we expected. So sorry about that. But today, by the support of you all, we are with a good setup again. So we are now heading to the ending of foundation of mindfulness teaching. So today is the last part of the Dhammanupassana, or the four foundation of mindfulness. From that, about the mind part. So we learned about placing our attention or the mindfulness in our body, and we learned there, if you can remember, breathing meditation. We learned that Iriyapat, or the paying attention to our body movement or the posture. And then we learned about the Sampajanya, which means that paying attention to our daily activities. And we learned about 32 body impurities and impurity in that, scanning the 32 parts. And we learned that how to place mindfulness in the decaying body and dying body. And I'm actually after died. So what happened to the dead body? And in that way, we covered for everything about the first part, of the placing our attention, awareness in our body. Then we learned about the paying our attention to feelings. In there, we learned that the feelings can break into two groups. One is feelings with the sensual experiences, feelings without the sensual experiences. So in that way, we can be mindful in three feelings, either pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. So in that way, 3 by 2, which means 6 feelings we learned about sensual and the non-sensual. And all these meditations teach us to see this body as a body instead of identifying it as me or mine or myself, identifying feelings as feeling instead of framing me or mine or myself. And then we learned about the mind. So in the mind, we learned that the different minds, like the time to time, the different minds arising, like with the greediness, without the greediness, or with the lust, without the lust, with the anger, without the anger, with the delusion, without the delusion. And in mindful meditative states, like with concentration, without concentration, and with expanded, without expanded. Also, likewise, different qualities we learned. And then from that, we try to understand, instead of framing I or mine or myself, kind of a frame there. We learn that instead of framing, we can see those things as rising and falling due to the reasons. And then lastly, we started to learn about the Dhammanupassana, or the fourth foundation of mindfulness, which is paying attention to the things which arise in our mind phenomena. In there, we learned about 5 hindrances, and we learned about 5 aggregates, we learned about the 6 sense faculties, and we learned about the 7 factors of enlightenment. So now today, we are going to start the 4 noble truths, or the 4 universal truths, which we can see within ourselves. So that's where we are now. So before we dive into the full foundation of mindfulness, if there is any questions regarding what we have learned previous, bring it up. And if not, don't you will, thanks to your volunteer team, you can have that recordings. You can go through the recordings, and in future we will keep it every teachings in one place with the summary. So then you can go through by reading, and then you can go through the video. So, Punecha param bhikkhave bhikkhu dhammesu dhammanupassī viharati. Again, monks, a monk practicing, paying attention to the mind phenomena as mind phenomena. Chatusvarya Sachi. So in this case, he is practicing on Four Noble Truths. And Ida bhikkhave bhikkhu idam dukkham yatha bhutam pajanati. In this case, the monk seeing this is the suffering as exactly as it is. Like this is the suffering, and the knowledge is a yatha bhutam, exactly as it is. Pajanati. Pajanati means understanding. So, and in here, suffering. And then Ayam dukkha samudayoti yatha bhutam pajanat. He understands this is the cause for the suffering, as it is, as exact knowledge. And Ayam dukkha nirodhoti yatha bhutam pajanat. Understand this is the exact reason for the cessation of suffering. And understanding this is the path to cessation of suffering, as exact knowledge. So, which means, as an example, we all know one thing, we are decaying and dying. Those are part of our life. But the problem is, we see it, something happened to me. So, knowledge, yatha bhuta means, as exactly knowing means, instead of seeing it like personal, seeing it as a nature, part of the nature. So, as an example, think that. So, sometimes people used to believe that back then, when sun, moon are like this, so those are like gods and superpowers, and they work according to what we expect or something like that. And but later people understood about those things as it is. Someone has a kind of a misunderstanding. There is a ghost in somewhere because he sees that when he's going at night, he see someone is saying hello, something like that. But later he understands that it's just a banana tree because of the wind, banana tree leaf shaking, and that's why we feel like someone is calling us. So likewise, when we understand things, that misunderstandings are fading away. So in our life, so instead of taking things as personal, there are exact things happening in this world as it is. So that's how what we have to do is we have to see it as it is. And that's what in the Dhammanupassana part someone is doing. Again, monks, a monk dwell observing mental contents as regard of Four Noble Truths. Okay, in there, Katamacha bhikkhave dukkhang arya satcha. So, monks, in that noble truth, what is the noble truth of suffering? So, do not try to get the understand this English term. Sometimes someone may feel like, hey, how can we say suffering a noble truth? Can we say it's a noble suffering? No, it's like the noble truth means that those are exact truth. Those are those there are things in that which mean tata avitata ananyata. Those things happens and can turn to something else, and no one can change it to something else. So it is the way it's happening. So what is the noble truth of suffering? Birth is suffering. Jatipi dukkha. So let's clear it and go to the next one. So to have a good knowledge on birth is a suffering, you may need the prior knowledge which we learn through the teachings. If not, someone can take it as a negative thing. Someone can think this is a false information or someone misunderstood. The birth is a suffering in what way? The way is birth means having eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and the mind, and what it experiences. So no one can say that I am living if they do not have eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, or the mind. But the thing is, the nature of the eye, ear, nose, and all these six sense faculties, those are here due to reason. Those are conditions, and those are changing, turning to something else, and falling apart. So eye is decaying, and that's why we need to wear spectacles. And in that way also it impermanence. And due to, from contact to contact, which means what we see from moment to moment, it change. So those are changing. This changing happen due to when cause is there, the if effect is there. And when this cause or the reasons changing, the outcome also change. That happens not according to someone's wish or will. So because of that, this changing thing creates suffering. This nature of changing is suffering. Because think that uh, we like to have this young eye throughout our life, but that does not, that young eye is a part of this lifespan of the eye, but it can be forever. So if someone attached to this the young eye, which means that very good and beautiful and it has a very clear vision, when it change, sufferings arises. So it's not a personal problem actually, it's the way of the world. So changing creates sufferings. Eye is a impermanent thing, ear, nose, tongue, body, and the mind. Moment to moment, mind change, moment to moment. Sometimes we feel happy, sometimes unhappy. So this nature is the suffering. So that's why birth is a suffering. It's like think that you receive something which you do not, which don't belong to you. You receive something, or you received something that's true, but it's not belong to you. So it has its own lifespan, it's decaying and dying. So birth is a suffering. So that's the knowledge, that is the knowledge which lead to the create eager to attain the Nibbana or the cessation of all the suffering. The ending the birth and death circle in here and now. In here. That's where Arahant is someone who ended up this birth cycle in this very life. So, birth is a suffering, and then decay is suffering, and jara bidukha. And then we all know why decaying is suffering. Decaying means yate san sette san sattanan tamha tamhitame sattanikaya jara jiranata Khandicham Palicham Valichachata Ayuno Sanghani Indriyanam Paripaka, which means whoever born to whatever the lifestyle or whatever breed, in that breed, Jara, just decay, Jiranata, that the way of decay, and Khandicham, which means that things like teeth, those are falling. Palicham. Palicham means that the head hair, the body hair, things like that turn into white color likewise. And Valichachata, which means that the skin turn because of the aging, skin turn into get old, and Ayuno sanghani, which means that the time to live, it's little by little ending. And Indriyana paripaka, which means that all these senses are turning to that not usable level. So likewise, it's the what we call the decay, and it's a part of this nature. And then dying is suffering, death is suffering. So unless arahants to arahant, the dying is like some sort of a poison he vomited, and he does not have that suffering. And then sorrow means which arises maybe due to missing or some sort of a feeling like and grief, and and pain means, which mean here pain means the physical pain, then mental pain, and then the lamentation. So those are the sufferings in here. So, and in here there are another two things mentioning piyehi vipayogo dukkha and apiyehi sampayogo dukkha, which mean that involvement with what one dislike is suffering, and separation from what one likes suffering. I said in Pali, I said the opposite actually. So apiyehi sampayoga, which means that which we do not like, we have to associate with that, and then which means involvement with the what we dislike is a suffering. So in here we can learn later, even it describes. So not only a person but maybe a thing, if we had to associate with things we do not like, think that your job, if you do not like, it's like involvement with what we dislike. And then separation from what one likes is suffering. We have attached or we like to something or some person, and we have to separate from that. It's also suffering. And in there, not getting what one wants is a suffering. This described in there that we like to not to have the other sufferings, but we receive that. In that way, it is suffering. And then briefly, 5 components of existence, or the 5 aggregates of clingings, are suffering. So the Panchupadana Kanda, which means form aggregation with clinging, feeling, perception, volitional formation, and the consciousness. Those are suffering. So then Buddha described everything, what is birth, what is, I will say this, what is decay, and what is dying, what is sorrow, one by one, the Buddha described. So this is what we have to see within ourselves when it arises. So now you have to have a clear idea that, okay, I will say this and come back again. So when Buddha teaches, sometimes people understand that meditation is like walking away from problems, like forgetting. It is something what alcohol does, but meditation is not something like you walking away from problem what you have. You strengthening your mind to understand it's a part of reality and navigate through that without falling into that trap of suffering. So therefore, when whatever the suffering arises in your mind, what we have to do is see it and categorize it in these sufferings, whatever the suffering you go through, because all the sufferings what we are going through are in that context. So you can find a suffering other than it mentioned there. So it's not the don't worry that yes, that's the suffering which comes from because of the divorce. But there is no such a thing. But it categorized it that the separation from the loved one. So like guys, uh, so over whatever the suffering arises in your mind, instead of seeing it, why I am going through it, see it, oh, it's a part of life. Then you want to escape from that. Yes, we can escape from that by letting go the reason, not just begging and asking from someone, but letting go the reason which created the suffering. So that's what Buddha teach here. Okay, so let's see what is the difference in thing that you got kind of a influence infection, like influenza infection, and you feel like headache and you can't work well and your body is so painful and so then there are two ways you can think that someone sneezed in front of you and you can find the cause for the suffering from outward. This person is the reason I got sick. That's one way of thinking. And think that you made an accident. Your vehicle mm, made an accident. So you can think this person carelessly drove, and because of that, I made this suffering is with. So whenever you find the reason from outside, there is something arising in you which you can't avoid, which is the anger. So if you find the cause for the suffering from outside, you will end with anger. So anger is the cause for the suffering. So then you putting gas to the wound, sorry, the fire. You are scratching your own wound. Then you have someone to be angry in outward. Then what will happen? So in our life, there are people to fight against. And in that way, think that you found, so if you find someone, so the a cause for the suffering or someone from outside, so only thing you can seek is the justice. Think that you got the justice. Think that because of someone, you started to sneeze. And because of that, okay, you got caught with the kind of a virus. You can, what is the justice you can get? You can go and slap him. You can go and uh, say bad words. Think that you made an accident. Other than getting the insurance, you usually get the insurance even you find the culprit from outside or not. In your mind, there is someone who is a very bad person. Now, what is the justice? So think that what even though we get the justice, there is a huge probability to not to get. Even you get the justice, you are not ending the suffering because that does not mean that you don't feel pain and suffering the next time you meet an accident. You will find another person to blame. That doesn't mean that you don't got sick again. You will sick again. But if you find cause for the suffering, the attachment, and let it go, seeing this is the exact suffering, and if you can let it go, so then you do not frame that identity in this decaying and dying body. You are freeing your mind from that, and you accept the reality as it is. You accept the nature as it is. You will be a free human being from that worrying and suffering while others suffering. You will be a wise person. Okay? Question. Okay, one. Is suffering due to other people's actions, due to past right wrong one may have done? Okay. Sufferings are, because all the sufferings are reason what we are going through is due to the attachment. And karma also a reason, but we can end the effect of karma by ending the attachment. So you can't end your past karma, good or bad, by being a victim of that. But you can end the past karma by letting go the attachment, letting go the ego. That's what Buddha teaches. So for that, whenever you feel pain or suffering, now today onwards, do not find reason from outer world. Find where I have attached, where I have been attached, and let go that attachment. What you get in return, you will get a free mind. Something that now as a human being, there are sufferings in the world which others going through and what you are not going through in your mind. Think that there is someone who attached to politics and he is not learning script translations also in this moment. He probably glued to the news what's going on in the media. He's going through suffering. Why it is not in you? Why it's not in you? Because you have not attached. Bhante, I have attached. I am just skipping it. I will. Don't worry. I will cover it right after the class. Some may see like that. But if you have attached, you will go through the suffering. If you do not feel suffering and you can go through that thing as an incident, then you have won that. You won the victor. So you have won the game. So this is life. What we have to do, understand it as suffering. It allows you to let go the ego. It allows you to experience the nibbana, or the cessation of suffering. That is the path to cessation of suffering. So think that I'm not good at mindfulness. Think that for some reason you feel like I'm not good at mindfulness. If you can see suffering as suffering, that itself the path. Don't worry about the other practices. So this is the important thing you have to know. Okay, let's go back to the sutta. So now Buddha described what is birth. Ya tesan sattanam tamma satta nikaya jati sanjati okkanti abhinibbanti kandhanam patubhavo ayatananam patila. Can anyone read this for me? I will go say the Pali term and I will describe this.
Monks, what is birth? The birth, nascence, entry, production of beings in a category of being, the manifestation of the components, the acquisition of the sense domains. Monks, this is called birth.
Okay, I will say it in simple way. What is birth? Jati, sanjati, kanti, which means like the same thing in different words. And abhinibbati, then kandhanam patubhava ayatananam patilabha, which means kandhanam means the 5 aggregates, having 5 aggregates, and ayatananam patilabha, someone's getting 6 sense faculties, which is called the birth.
Monks, what is decrepitude? The decrepitude, agedness, fragility, grayness, wrinkledness of beings in a category of being, the diminution of vitality, the decay of faculties. Monks, this is called decrepitude.
Decaying means kandicca. Yatesan tesan sattana Dhammasaddhanikaya Jara Jirvanata Kandicca Palicca. So uh, just decaying and that aging, and then that, which means that things like teeth, those are falling, fragiling, and the hair going gray, getting gray, and that white color, and then skin wrinkled, and then Jara Khandicham Palicham Valichuchata Ayuno Sanghani, ending the life, the energy to live, and Indriyanam Paripako, these faculties are decaying. This is called in this descriptive or the decaying. Okay, this is called dying.
Monks, what is dying? The departure, falling away, breaking, disappearance, death, dying of those beings from that category of being, separation from the components of existence, leaving behind the corpse, interruption of vitality. Monks, this is called dying.
It's the same thing. This is the so-called sorrow.
Monks, what is sorrow? The sorrow, sorrowing, sorrowfulness, inner sorrow, thorough inner sorrow of one who has been touched by some kind of disaster or unpleasant phenomenon. Monks, this is called sorrow.
Yeah. So this is like one after the. So if someone going through sorrow, then this grief, and then that crying rises. Okay.
Monks, what is grief? The lament, grief, lamenting, grieving, lamentation, state of grief of one who has been touched by some kind of disaster or unpleasant phenomenon. Monks, this is called grief.
The physical pain.
Monks, what is pain? An unpleasant feeling such as physical pain, physical discomfort or pain produced by a physical experience. Monks, this is called pain. Monks, what is depression? An unpleasant feeling such as mental pain, mental discomfort, pain produced by a mental experience. Monks, this is called depression. Monks, what is anguish? The torment, anguish, tormented state of anguish of one who has been touched by some kind of disaster or unpleasant phenomenon. Monks, this is called anguish. Monks, what does involvement with what one dislikes is suffering mean? There are sights, sounds, flavors, odors, tangibles, and mind objects that are unwanted, undesired, unpleasant, or there are those who wish for one's detriment, harm, discomfort, danger. One meets with, comes together with, joins with, or mixes with them. Monks, this is called involvement with what one dislikes is suffering.
Okay, there you go. So in here, you know that we learn the six sense faculties. So whatever the experiences we get through our sense faculties, if there's unpleasant and which we do not expect, instead of taking as these person did this, we can see it's the okay, I'm going through involvement with the what one dislike is or dislike, and it's a suffering. That's what we have to see. This is
Monks, what does separation from what one likes is suffering mean? There are sights, sounds, flavors, odors, tangibles, and mind objects that are wanted, desired, pleasant, or there are those who wish for one's benefit, welfare, comfort, safety, mother, father, brother, sister, friends, companions, or relatives. One does not meet with, come together with, join with, or mix with them. Monks, this is called separation from separation from what one likes is suffering. Monks, what does not getting what one wants is suffering mean? Monks, a wish like this manifests in beings who are subject to birth. May we not be subject to birth. May birth not come to us. However, they are not able to attain that wish. This is called not getting what one wants is suffering. Monks, a wish like this manifests in beings who are subject to decrepitude, dying, sorrow, grief, pain, depression, and anguish. May we not be subject to sorrow, grief, pain, depression, and anguish. May sorrow, grief, pain, depression, and anguish not come to us. However, they are not able to attain that wish. This is called not getting what one wants is suffering. Monks, what does the five components of existence when affected by attachment are suffering mean? It means the body when affected by attachment, feelings when affected by attachment, recognition when affected by attachment, mental constructs when affected by attachment, and consciousness when affected by attachment. Monks, this is called the five components of existence when affected by attachment are suffering. Monks, this is called the noble truth of suffering.
Right. Thank you. Whenever we go through suffering, we have to see it. I am going through this. So this is what we can understand there. So a cause for the suffering, it's very detailed. We can go through it another class, and it's very detailed. You need that six sense faculties knowledge for that. The next week, try to go through if you have time in what is six sense faculties. Linda, share that video also in the group, so then you can go through it and come. So now we can understand one thing, like, okay, if you're going through suffering, there are the main thing is someone can come and comfort you. Is it okay or not okay in Buddhism? It's totally fine and it's okay. And that's uh, the first thing someone can do, and we can show them that, okay, we are with you, we feel you. And that's why people come and offer things to Buddha statue and especially to the Bodhi tree, and expecting blessings to navigate through what they are going through. But is that the only thing? No, that is the primary thing which help even in any religion, that creating hope to overcome from that. But once you have consciousness to understand what's going in our life to overcome from suffering, what is the exact thing what we have to do? See it and categorize it in the noble truth of suffering. True, this is the suffering. This suffering is part of this existence. What do you get from that? So you accept it. What do you get when you accept that? Once you accept that, the pain and suffering which went through your life will fade. How do we know that? There are things seems to be sufferings since we have already accepted it as part of life, so part of our life. We are already navigated through that very well. As an example, you know that we have to put meals 2 or 3 times per day to this body. But no one is saying it's a suffering. We say that it's a human need. So, but think that for some reason, rest of the world do not have such a thing. They just eat when they want to enjoy. But we are the only one. We have to feed us. Then we will definitely see it as a suffering, because the rest of the world does not want to do such a thing. Now, since everyone doing that, we haven't accepted it as a part of our life. So after eating, we have to go to the restroom at one point. But think that the rest of the world, for some reason, they digest all the food what they eat, and there is nothing to remove from the body and go by going to the restroom. We are the only one has such a thing. Then we will take it as a suffering. But now we do not take it as a suffering, even though we are going through that. Why? Since everyone going through, we have accepted that it's a part of life. So likewise, in this existence, decaying, uh, ill, dying, separating from loved one, associating with the things and people which we don't like, lamentation, and this sorrow and physical and mental feeling, pains, those are part of our life. In brief, wherever we have attached, no matter whether it's a form, no matter whether it's a feeling, no matter whether it's a perception or volitional formation, I mean intention, or even our own consciousness, we will suffer. So, as improve your wisdom, upgrade yourself from this moment onwards, whenever, wherever you feel pain and suffering, do not find the cause from outside. If you find outside someone to blame, you are late to understand the reality, because the exact reason is within us. Then once we come to a level like, okay, it's a part of love life. I feel pain and I feel pain, and that's true. I feel sorrow, that's true. Because I have attached, then when you can let go that attachment, think that you are a living being living in this world, enjoying this moment without even a single attachment. For some reason, think that you do not have a single attachment. You are okay with whatever the things going on around you. Think that uh, you are expecting all the possibilities, say thinking it's okay. How happy you are, how nice will be your life. So there was an Arahant. He was actually 7 years old. His name was Adimutta. So Adimutta is just like a child mark. So he as went with another, I think around 30 or so group of monks, uh, to in that rainy retreat season, to meditate with them in a jungle with the permission of the Buddha. So the rest of the monks actually do not know that this is an arhat. So they are meditating over there, and the others are practicing hard to attain enlightenment. The enlightened, this child monk, Adimutta, as a Samanera novice monk, he's doing his daily routine of helping to the other monks and to the highly ordained monk. There are some chores to do. So he's doing that, enjoying his life. So there was an old man who used to help monks while they are staying in that and meditating in the jungle, because Bhante is going arms round to the village, and after they receive food, the excessive food, usually this old man and having that, and old man also getting something, and he also liked to serve monks, and he stayed there. He didn't practice Dhamma as like he is old, and he just found that place as some place where he can survive. So after some time, he wanted to go back to see his family in some rural area. And while he is crossing the jungle, actually there were another gang, the thieves, before and after, like when they going to steal from, do a robbery from, steal from the houses, maybe from mansions and from the palace, they used to kill some living being, especially a human, and offer that as a sacrifice, like a offering to a tree, believing that there is a god in that tree and that god help them to continue this. They couldn't find someone to sacrifice, like kill and offer it to the god, and this gang found this old man, soul man. Now they are about to kill as a ritual because they want a kind of insurance from the god to go and steal. The old man so scared and don't know what to do. He's little cunning person, and he said, "He, your God will never will be satisfied just giving the old human being like this. Try to give someone fresh, new, young." Then he said, "I can show you a place where there are young monks are living." Then and this leader, the thieves leader also actually wanted to offer something special to God because he wanted to succeed in his mission. So with that clue, he went to see the monks. So monks are with no weapons also, and they ask, "We need to take one." Then while all the monks hesitating, and they are still practicing the meditation, and they have expectations in their life and sufferings are there. This small monk, Adimutta said, "Bhantes, you don't want to worry about that, anything, and you, even though you don't know about me, there is nothing special to do by myself. You stay and practice meditation. I'll go with them." So he went with them, and the thieves tied him and about to be beheaded using a sword in front of the tree. And then he's so calm, smiling and accepting it, and nothing, no worries seeing in his face. So he tried twice and twice. For some reason, he couldn't cut the head. So, and the last time, his sword was like a feather, it's curled. So the leader of that gang group so scared about what's happening, and he felt that this small monk must be a special person. And he asked some questions like while bowing and bringing palms together, uh, Bhante, this is something amazing. I have brought some people from kings' families, and I have brought some people who are very wealthy people to this place. They always asking, "Please let me go. I will give this much of wealth, that much of wealth. I will help you likewise." But in your case, you're so amazing. You are so ready to do whatever to happen to you, going to happen to you. So you're so smiling and calm. So like, what is the reason? How you tamed your mind up to this level? Then Adimut, small monk, saying that that special ability I go through by practicing Buddha's teachings. If you like to practice, I can show where Buddha lived, and you can practice it, and you can overcome from all the sufferings. Actually, that hit thief, and some of became monks and they practiced the Dhamma, while others didn't join with them. So that's how that letting go, accepting the world as it is, can change the world. So actually, Adimuntarahan didn't expect those people to change, but he accepted the reality as it. So it's what we have to do if we really want to overcome from the sufferings. We should have plans, but we shouldn't attach to even to the plans. So this is not like negativity. Think that someone come and rob your house. then what you can do? You can call the police and you can say to the insurance company, and you can move forward even to navigate through that without worrying and being angry and furious. But if you are caught with anger, every day, whenever you may remember that incident, you are suffering. So that's why we have to accept the nature. So even it's up to us whether we believe or not, it's up to us to accept it or not. But these truths are part of our life. Let me know if there is anyone who has not gone through this suffering except dying. It is the only thing we are about to experience, but rest of the thing we all have went through and going through. So it's up to us. Keep on worrying. No, just navigate through it like Adimattara. Okay. Let's bring our palms together. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Today we learned in that fourth foundation of mindfulness, the noble truth of suffering part, and it is a truth we have to see within ourselves, and we accumulated good karma, good blessings, good merits to our life. Let's share all this good karma with, if there are any private guardian to you, with them and with all the deities and divinely powers. May they rejoice the merits which we acquired today, and may they be well and happy and understand the Four Noble Truths. And let's share all these blessings with our past relatives and friends. May they rejoice the merits which we acquired. And let's share all these merits with our teacher, Pinat Swami Mahas, and all the monastic monks live all around the world. May Bhantes be well and happy and understand the Four Noble Truths. And let's share all these good karma blessings with our wonderful volunteers and our weekly Dharma learning group. May you all be well, be happy. May your all good wishes come true. And may you all able to practice Dhamma more and more and experience the blissfulness and happiness in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Keep your palms together. I'm going to chant the blessings in Buddha's language. Abhivadana silisa nityam vada pachayino chattaro dhamma vadanti ayuvano sukhang balan ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha atvo nibbana sampatti minati samicchatu. May all have a long life, happy life, healthy life. May all be able to understand the Four Noble Truths in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Our Sarai Bhante, many merit for a beautiful Dhamma discussion and sutta. We would like to share merit with Bhante and worship and ask for forgiveness.
Okasa vandami bante maya katang punyang samina anumodi tabbang
Sadhu, sadhu.
samina katam punyang maihanda tabbang
Sadhu,
sadhu
sadhu.
sadhu anumodami okasa dwarattena katan sabbang achayang kamatame bante okasa kamami bante tutiyampi okasa kamami bante tatiyampi okasa kamami bante.
It's okay.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Namo.